Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share my ranking and just chatting about J.P. Delaney psychological thrillers. So yeah, if you're interested in any books by J.P. Delaney, whether you love them or hate them, I'm going to walk you through all of them and let you know my thoughts and which ones I think you should read, which ones are the best, which ones to avoid, and all of that good stuff. One interesting fact that I will tell you is that in the author's bio page, there has never been a picture of J.P. Delaney. And I think that that's on purpose, but I'm gonna pop in a picture and show you what the author looks like. So if you didn't know, J.P. Delaney is actually a pseudonym for Anthony Capella, who is also a writer and who has also published books under that name. They also published under Tony Strong and Jonathan Holt. I don't think it's a big secret why he publishes under several different pseudonyms. I think he said in an interview before that he did that so people didn't go into a book expecting one thing and getting something completely different. But I'm here to talk about the books written under the pseudonym J.P. Delaney. So there are actually 4 of them, and this is his psychological thriller pseudonym. The author was actually born in Uganda in 1962. At about the 1-month-old mark, his parents and himself immigrated back to the UK, and that's where he grew up. That's where he went to school. He actually graduated from Oxford Peters College in Oxford. So that's really all I know about the author. So let's go ahead and jump into the books. So the first one is The Girl Before. This one was published in 2017. You have Emma and Jane, and both of these women have experienced some type of trauma. Emma is recovering from a violent break-in, and Jane delivered a stillborn child. So they are looking for a place to live around London, and everything seems to be out of their budget. When the realtor says, hey, there is this opportunity to live in this house. It's built by this really famous architect, but living there comes with a lot of rules. So she shows them this really like high-tech smart home, townhome, and the architect is like this super obsessive minimalist. And like I said, there's all these rules. They have to sign a very in-depth contract. There's an interviewing process to even be considered. And one of the questions on the very front page of the packet that they have to fill out is list every single thing that you deem necessary in your life. And I just thought that that was a very interesting question to open up with. But you have these 2 women living in this townhome in a dual timeline. Obviously, they're not living there at the same time. And there's a lot of similarities between the 2 women, between what happens to them and what goes on in the 2 timelines. And it is dual perspective. Okay, next up is Believe Me. And this one came out in 2018. It can also be under the name Tony Strong, but most copies I have seen have been J.P. Delaney labeled. This one is about an actress playing both sides of a murder investigation. So this is about a struggling actress living in New York without a green card, and at night she goes to acting classes, and during the day she works as a decoy at this divorce firm. So basically what her job is that she's trying to catch men or women, but the examples that we get in the actual book are men. She goes in, tries to get them to cheat on their wives, see if they will cheat on their wives, see if they are cheating on their wives, and she reports back, and then I'm sure a divorce ensues and all of that. But on one particular case, things get a little crazy because she goes to be the decoy. It doesn't work out quite as planned. There ends up being a murder, and then she's working with the police to figure out who killed this person. She is a suspect. Other people are the suspect. And so when the job goes sideways, Claire is pulled into the investigation, and it's very interesting. Next up, we have The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. And this one came out in 2019. And this one, our main character, Abby, wakes up dazed and confused, like she's been in an accident or something like that. And you're not really sure what's going on, but at the end of the first chapter, you find out her husband, she has no memory of who she is or how she is, where she is, but the man at her side is claiming to be her husband, and he's telling her that she's this gifted artist, an avid surfer, a loving mother, a perfect wife. But then 5 years ago, there was a terrible accident, and now because of this new technology, he was able to bring her back. She leaves with him, they go to their house, but as she starts piecing together memories, she starts questioning, is that her husband? What really happened? Very interesting. All of these are so good. I love J.P. Delaney so much, you guys. Finally, we have Playing Nice, and this one released in 2020, and this one has themes of like family and protection. So you have Pete, who is a stay-at-home dad, and they're not married, but his girlfriend goes to work. He's the stay-at-home dad. He takes his son and drops him off at daycare, and they have like the best little relationship. But then one day, another man, I don't know if I wrote down his name, Miles, claims that is actually his son and that their children were switched at birth. Their children are 2 years old, so the whole time they've been raising each other's kids, and there's a DNA test to prove that they've been switched at birth. Very interesting because it just like leaves you questioning like what would you do in this situation. As the story unfolds, the two families are reeling from the shock of the situation and what happened, and they start digging into what actually happened at the hospital on the night that, you know, their children were switched at birth, and they start questioning how their children were switched and all of that. So super interesting. Just read this. This is like one of the ones that I just read last month, and I really quite enjoyed it. Read it with my really good friend Jessie. So of the books, now that you know a little bit about them, the first one that I actually read was The Perfect Wife. I read this so fast. All of his books are pretty chunky, but I feel like this one, maybe just because it's paperback, yeah, it's like 400 pages. But I loved this. I read this a couple summers ago, and I was loving it. I was like underlining stuff. I was dog-earing stuff. I was just like, I love it. I love it. It was so interesting. And it's kind of like, it has like a little bit of sci-fi in this one. I don't know. I really, really, really loved it. And I was just so interested to see like where it would go. That's kind of the theme with like all of these books, is I just think that the characters are really interesting. The situations are really interesting. And you're just always like inserting yourself or thinking about like, what would I do if I was in that situation? And there's always some kind of like twist or turn in his stories that you don't necessarily see coming. I guess like you could if you really thought about it too hard, but I don't usually try to. So, okay, so of all the books, like I said, there's two different ways that I think you should handle it. The first way is if you want to read all four, I would probably just read them in publication order. So again, that would be The Girl Before, then Believe Me, then The Perfect Wife, and then Playing Nice. So if you want to read all four, just read them in publication order. I definitely think you should start with The Girl Before, because I do think that it is the weakest of the bunch. And then it only gets better from there. You know what I'm saying? So if I had to tell you like if you're picking and choosing which ones to read and you don't mind not reading all of them, I would say maybe forget this one. Like I said, it's dual POV, dual timeline, and I think the two timelines, the two women, the two POVs were too similar, and it just didn't work for me like these did. But all of these I really, really loved. So let's go ahead and get into my final ranking. So coming in at number 4 is obviously the girl before. Like I said, it was a little repetitive, and I think I've said repetitive enough, so we're just gonna leave it at that. All right, next up, I don't know, these two are both tied for like third and second place. This one, it's been a couple of years since I read it, and this one I read recently. I think it just depends what you're in the mood for. This one is just a really screwed up situation, obviously, and this one is more heart-pumping thriller. So if I had to rank these, I'd probably put Playing Nice in number 3. I would put The Perfect Wife in the second place, and obviously that means that Believe Me is in first place. It's my favorite. So again, first place, second place, third place, and a fourth place. So yeah, so that is my ranking for J.P. Delaney books. I will definitely be picking up anything they write under this pseudonym. I have all of them now. I actually won this in a giveaway through my book club. I won a TBR challenge that we were doing, and I got a book off of my wish list, and I got this one, which I'm so excited about. So now I own all of the books. Yeah, so that is my ranking of J.P. Delaney books. I don't know if they have anything coming out this year, but it was like 2018, 2019, 2020, maybe 2021. I mean, that is the hope. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're having a lovely day or night. Let me know if you have read any of J.P. Delaney's books. Which ones are your favorites? Have you read any of their other books under other pseudonyms? Let me know that as well. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye!